Welcome back, guys, to Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Prosecutors Gambit, as we return to the title screen because it reflects what case we were just on, with of course our first turnabout, our first story having finished, with us finding out that Rook was murdered by night, and now President Wang is in our country with no one to guard him, well, no special people. He's still got his pawns around the place, and Shelly the Killer's on the loose, possibly hunting for his life. So with that said and done, we now wonder what is next for Miles Edgeworth and co. Because we might return to this storyline that we see before us a little bit later, as we move on to our second episode, The Captive Turnabout, now begins. Well, that was a start. What on earth is going on here? March 27th, 10:16 a.m. Detention Center visitors room, and it doesn't look like night lasts very long. Still no sign of them, huh? Yeah. How long do they intend to keep us waiting? No, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm sure the guard will bring him in any second now. The killing of Bastian Rook. It's been 2 days since the incident at the park, and today we're paying a visit to the detention center. Our aim, of course, is to interview Bronco Knight, who's been charged with the murder. His trial is due to start tomorrow, and I am to be the prosecutor behind the bench. What's taking so long? You there? What's going on? I don't know, sir. I'll go and check. We've got a situation. It's Knight. He's been killed. What? Killed? In the detention center? It's a very dingy detention center, though. Bloomin' hell. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. What are we waiting for? Right. Guard, take us to the scene of the crime at once. Yes, sir. You made sure there's no murderers around first? You secured the area first? So it didn't happen in the holding cells. But surely that was where he was being held. Yeah. Your life, your choice, eh? What's the hold up? Crime scene's this way. Where are you taking us? Doesn't this door lead to... The prison proper, yes. You mean those other cells aren't part of the prison? Not exactly, no. Those are the detention centers holding cells. That's where defendants are kept while they're awaiting trial. The area beyond this door serves a rather different purpose. Yeah, it's where the people who are convicted serve out their time. I suppose you could say it's the last place a great thief should ever want to be. I've unlocked it, sir. Please follow me. Just got some rocks to break in the middle, have we? What a weird place. That's Knight, all right, but he's dead. How could this have happened? How did he wind up inside the prison proper? Well, corruption is the first thought. Very much corruption. Why do we have grates on the floor that you could probably escape out of? I don't know. Prison workshop. What are we working on in here? This is horrible. How did Mr. Knight get himself murdered? I mean, this prison isn't very secure. There's about 1 billion things here that you could, yeah. I can hardly believe it myself. There can be no doubting the evidence of our own eyes. And what's he doing here? I thought he was being held in the detention center, no? He was. He must have been. His trial hadn't even begun yet. The law states that until convicted, suspects are to be kept in cells separate from the main prison. Only those who have been found guilty are sent to the prison proper. There's no way Knight should have been in here. Maybe he wanted his way over. Maybe he just walked here through the big door. The detention center and the prison are separated not only by two heavy doors, but also a lengthy corridor. And that would have been a long way to wander, especially for a detainee. I suppose we better take a closer look at Knight's body. We'll need to examine the scene of the crime carefully if we want to get to the bottom of this. Right, well, we'll begin our investigation. A bit thrown. The stories just bled straight into each other, no problem. No separate cases here. Is that a whip? Time to inspect every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. It's all suspicious in a prison! Indeed, this area is too big to take in all at once. Fortunately, I can use R to look further up or down. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. Right, well, there's many reasons why a prison would not have most of this stuff. A case of someone not, I'll put it delicately in saying, not wanting to serve out their sentence. There's about 1 billion things they could do that with. Looks like a pulley of some kind. And if you want to murder someone as another prisoner, there's another 50 billion things to do that with. Maybe the prisoners use it for work. I suppose so, yes. Okay, so I know you're going to say no, but absolutely not, Kay. You are not permitted to swing on that rope. I knew it. I should have known you were being serious. Got a blooming cage here. Weird having something like this in a prison, huh? A cage inside a cage. Technically, Kay, a prison isn't made up of cages, but cells. What's the difference? No offense, Mr. Edgeworth, but you've got to look at the basic nature of things more. Yes, and the basic nature of an investigation is the pursuit of accurate facts and information. I'm with Edgeworth here. Nothing else we're looking for on this screen. There's about 1 billion things that shouldn't be here on this screen. These tarps are rather colourful. Colourful tarps that seem out of place in a room like this. I wonder what they are used for. They kind of stand out in a room like this, don't they? They certainly don't look like they belong in a prison. None of this does. Look, there's a whip on top of them. Especially the whip. You know who that reminds me of, right? Hey, maybe it's actually hers. Maybe she left it here. Not a chance. She and her whip are attached to the wrist, trust me. Yes, I actually believe that. Interestingly, the whip isn't the thing that's interesting there. There was a rope near Knight's body, too. Speaking of which, want to see my super stealthy rope escape trick? Thanks, but I'll let you know when I'm in need of saving. She seems genuinely disappointed. There seems to be everything on this screen. Of course, there's way more to examine apart from that. Nothing in amongst the ruffles, is there? The knot isn't important. It's a sink. It doesn't seem to contain any useful clues. Nope, no whiff of treasure either. You do know we're not actually looking for treasure, right? Doesn't mean we can't find any. I think it's you we're picking up there versus what else we're looking at. What's with all the weird equipment? I'm not sure, but I don't see anything particularly suspicious here. It's all ridiculously suspicious. Smells weird, though. Kinda musky, like wet fur. I didn't know you had such a keen nose. Oh, it's nothing special, really, except when it comes to sniffing out treasure. Remind me to seal all my valuables away in airtight containers. No way, Mr. Edgeworth, I'd never steal any of your stuff. But you would happily steal someone else's. I'm not sure that's entirely reassuring. Like, there's literally, like, pills here or something? 50 bajillion things you wouldn't expect to find in a prison. This part of the floor is covered with dirt. You know what that means, sir? Footprints. Too many footprints, unfortunately. We'll need a specialist to identify them. Guess we just gotta wait till forensics gets here. Yes, and in the meantime, if you could refrain from treading all over it, which would be me. Wouldn't want to slip up and get the old jacket there, yeah? Good point, Mr. Edgeworth. Thanks. My concern was for the footprints, not your jacket, detective, he says as he stands on it. It was me and Kay all along. This grate even looks interesting to me. There seem to be a list of prisoner reservations for the workshop. What are all these numbers, Mr. Edgeworth? Prisoner numbers, I'd imagine. I'd hate to be given a number like that. I rather agree. People are meant to have names. I'd much rather be called Great Thief or the Second Yatagarasu. Alright, no name for you then, I guess. I guess we do the dead body in the room. Bronco Knight. Killed the day before his court date. We'd better take a closer look. Who gave you this? Huh, is that? Oh, I've seen one of these in your office, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm sure you have, Detective. It's a pocket chess set. The victim's, I'd imagine. Makes sense. He loved chess, after all. Just, again, to examine more things that are completely wrong with this. He's wearing a tie. That would be taken away. He's wearing a belt. That would be taken away. The chess set. That's gone. Probably the neck brace, too. I'm not even sure how that would work out. Yeah, would have been a good way to pass the time. Pocket chess set. A folding chessboard with the pieces stored inside. It appears to have belonged to the victim. I'm sure there's nothing in it. Can I examine it further? Come on, come on, come on! Hurry up and open that clasp! This is a murder investigation. You sound like a child on Christmas morning. Oh, please. Even your heart must skip a beat when you're about to open a mysterious box. Not all of us think like you, Kay, thankfully. It's chess pieces! Who'd have guessed? These are chess pieces, right? I've seen the ones you have in your office. So how come these are black and white? Most chess pieces are. The ones in my office are custom made. As in, they're unique and probably valuable. I like the sound of that. She's got that glint in her eye. She better not be planning a robbery. Right, there's no false bottom or anything? Suspicious. Suspicious that there's nothing overly suspicious about this chess set. What? Let me open this. Yet. The body is partially covered by a dirt-stained tarp. And there's a rope on top of it. Was Knight tied up with a rope somehow? Maybe transported? Discovered on top of Knight's body. Does this mean the victim was tied up? We should take a look under the sheet as well. Ah! Look at all that red stuff! Yes, I'd say that's blood. Features a colourful design and stained with what I believe to be the victim's blood. We should keep looking around. There's bound to be more secrets to uncover, I'm sure of it. These two things go to... Oh, shoot. Oh, yeah, cool, it's fine. These things go together? I wonder what they're used for. And they're bloody as well. I feel like they could connect. They are literally the same thing, after all. Logic dictates they're not supposed to be bloody. These tarps have a pretty distinctive design, in fact. It's the same design as the bloody tarp around Mr. Knight's body. Yes, you took the words right out of my mouth. That'll teach you to be so careless, Mr. Edgeworth. You need to keep your treasures close when there's a great thief around. I thought you were on sabbatical. Bloody tarp data jotted down in my organizer. Alright. So that will allow me to have it here. Some of these were being stored in Workshop A. Does this mean the victim was tied up? Can't examine that. A rubber glove. Yep, just the one though. I should examine it in more detail. Should I now? It's very dirty. There's mud all over it. Maybe the prisoners were making mud pies. Serve your time by making mud pies. Wish I could have joined them. I love making mud pies. Not anywhere near my crime scene, you're not. Inmate use only. Inmate use only. I guess that means that it must be one of the prisoners who was using it, right? Yes, you would certainly imagine so. Like, surely there's something inside it. Like, DNA evidence. I guess it's the blood I need to check next, though. The fingers are covered in blood on this side. I think we can safely assume that this glove was dropped sometime after Knight's blood had been spilt. We can. How come? Because had it been on the floor when the pool of blood was forming, then the blood would have flowed around it, but not underneath it. Oh, meaning there'd only be a band of blood around the edges of the fingers and not all over the backside. Assuming the glove was discarded after the blood had pooled around the body, maybe our murderer ditched it after they did the deed. It's certainly a possibility. At the very least, whoever it was that dropped it must have seen the body. You there. I haven't talked to these guys yet. I should have talked to them first instead of investigating more. Where? I didn't even examine the body. Yes, sir? Have you seen that glove before? Yes, sir. The prisoners wear them for work. It's strange, though. Prisoners issued with those gloves are under strict orders to keep them in their cells. They aren't allowed to take them out without permission, and we always check. I suppose that would explain why there aren't any other gloves in the workshop. Only one glove was found at the crime scene. Prison issued equipment for working inmates stained with blood and mud. Right, should I maybe talk to them before examining further at this point in time? We should be fine, right? His neck brace is soaked with the blood from the hole in his neck. I would assume that's the cause of death and that it was probably instantaneous. He wouldn't have even had the chance to cry out for help. There's a small cut on his scalp, too. Was he struck with something? Maybe he fell at his head after he was stabbed in the throat. It's possible, but it's too early to say with any certainty. Okay, you have your camera with you, correct? Could you lend it to the detective so that he can photograph the body? Sure thing. All yours, Gummy.
Thanks. All right, here we go.
This clothes sure are a mess, though, huh? Indeed, they appear to be covered in dirt. Mr. Knight's body data is jotted down in my organizer. Body is covered in dirt, small cut on the scalp from where he suffered a blow to the head. Killed instantly by a stab wound to the throat.
Guess he's like me when it comes to laundry.
It would be a grave error to think that anybody else could be quite like you, Detective. Hello? There's something on his finger. Let's take a closer look, Mr. Edgeworth. It's a ring, and an expensive looking one at that.
Don't even think about it, Kay.
What? I didn't say anything. Not a bad bit of evidence gathering. Nothing can stop us when we're on a hunt together. Right, Gummy?
You betcha! We're unstoppable! The regular Three Musketeers!
Let's not get carried away, Detective. There's one thing we still haven't found.
Huh? What do you mean, sir?
What's missing from this crime scene? I mean, yeah, it'd be the murder weapon, surely. Definitely isn't missing blood. Could be bloody footprints, but they're not necessarily there. But we thought there might be footprints in the thing, so... I see no sign of a murder weapon anywhere.
You're right! I didn't even think of that!
Come now, Detective. These are basic investigative principles we're talking about here.
Yeah, I guess. Sorry, sir.
Don't worry, Gummy. It hadn't crossed my mind either. A fact that hardly puts my mind at ease, Kay. Items that could prove even potentially lethal are strictly controlled within a prison. After all, we wouldn't want the inmates getting their hands on them, would we? Which means acquiring a murder weapon would be hard enough. Honestly, there's a hook up there and there's lots of stuff, bloomin' hell. Would be hard enough, let alone leaving the scene with one. Oh yeah, nice thinking, Mr. Edgeworth. What was the murder weapon? And where has it gone? The answers to these questions may be the keys to figuring out what happened here.
Didn't know the guy had a whole entourage. Excusez-moi, but this is the scene of the crime, right? Wait a second. Are you... No way. Those piercing eyes. That furrowed brow.
Mr. Fender. It has been far too long.
I know, right?
But even after all this time, I'd know that deep bow anywhere, and that neckwear obs. Manfred von Karma, the man, the legend. Gotta say, I didn't expect to see you here. What are you talking about, pal? This is Mr. Edgeworth, not that old geezer. Detective, please. Edgeworth? Wow, guess that explains the fresh face. Yeah, can't blame a guy for mixing you two up, though. He's a spitting image of the old devil in his day. I see you haven't changed. How many years has it been? Ah, good question. Who's counting, eh? Being away traveling so long I lost track. You know how it is. But you know what I do remember? You betraying everything you were supposed to stand for.
Whoa, where did that come from? And who are you anyway?
This is Eddie Fender. He's a... I love that name. It's got like the whole guitarish kind of thing in it. Eddie, like, as well, like Van Halen, I guess. But it really is just a Defender, isn't it? That's a great name. That's an amazing name. I hope you do some guitar stuff. I don't know. I know it's taken by other people, but still. He's a defense attorney. Enchanté, as they say. Fender's the name and defending's the game. I'm a bit of an ace attorney. Detective Tip Gumshoe.
And I'm Kay Faraday, great thief. I'm on sabbatical at the moment, though.
A great thief? Wow, that's so romantic. Today's chic, if you will.
Right? It's nice to finally meet someone who gets it. I'm looking to expand the franchise, actually. I even made signing up super simple.
Sounds awesome. I'd love to come hang with you guys, if you'll have me.
Sorry, I should have also mentioned that it's girls only, and they have to be super fun and super cool, and...
Hey, I totally get it. No hard feelings, yeah? Come on, bring it in.
You've got to be kidding.
My bad, my bad. I'm just so used to how they do things elsewhere, you know? And why are you here, Mr. Fender? Whoops, almost forgot this is your scene. Keeping the defense out was strategy number 1 in the Von Karma playbook, after all, isn't it?
Woohoo! This guy's zinging all the time.
Hey, quit with all the Von Karma stuff, pal. What gives?
Hold it!
Detective, calm yourself. His attitude is, unfortunately, understandable. It is? I take it you are Mr. Nice Attorney. Guilty as charged, Your Honor. Well, I was supposed to be anyway. So he was planning to represent Knight if his client had been murdered. He and I would have faced off against each other in court. I'd better see what he has to say for himself. Alright, well now I can take the time to speak to the others in the room before I speak to a defender. Great name. Anything out of the ordinary to report, officer? Yes, sir. There is this one thing. Go on. There's a body in the workshop, sir.
He's right. That's definitely out of the ordinary.
If anything else occurs to you, you know where to find me. Good talk. Amazing chat. Yes, sir. Right, let's talk to Gumshoe. We didn't miss him, yay. Arrested for murder on the afternoon of the 25th and killed on the morning of the 27th. Talk about instant karma. Never would have thought our perp would turn into a victim himself, though. Yes, I don't like this at all. You don't think it was that ice cream guy, do you, sir? Knight had seen his face, right? Maybe you couldn't afford to let him live. Shelley the killer, you mean? Lots of people have seen his face. We all can't live then on that logic. No, if this were his doing, he would surely have left a calling card. And besides, Knight isn't the only one who knows what he looks like. We do too. Oh yeah, and I guess we're still alive, so... Still, this is a high security facility. I just don't understand how it was even possible. Guess it makes sense having the detention center and the prison in the same building. Means they can share the visitor's room. Indeed, it's an unusual design, but it's certainly convenient for anyone visiting. Yeah, but then why have 2 different areas in the first place? The 2 different classes of detainees, of course. Those pre-trial and those post-trial. The 2 facilities may be housed in the same building in this case, but they are actually quite different. Well, all I know is that they're both cramped and dark. Don't let you leave when you want. Perhaps spending a night in each would help clarify the differences between them. No, I'm good, thanks. I bet you are. And of course, there's one more person to speak to in this room.
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? So this is what the inside of a prison looks like. No, not really. Good to know. Good to know. I mean, they do have workshops and stuff. There'll be a lot more regulation on this gun, the things that are in it. Like whips. Why are whips in? I'm assuming this is a room where they do something with animals, obviously. But still. Good to know. Good to know. Someone's highly motivated to learn today. You're just not on top of your game, Mr. Edgeworth. This stuff is important. Gotta be prepared for when the time comes. Which will never come for me, I must say. Still, I won't discourage you from finding out more. I need to gather a little more information myself. And then use my powers of logic to piece it together.
So we're getting out of you, is it?
Your current case, Mr. Fender. So the victim asked you to represent him? Sure did. We were supposed to have a little chat today. As was I. But a guard showed up instead and told us that his body had been found. I'm as bummed about it as you. Even brought him some weenies to cheer him up. Mr. Fender, you know you can bring food into the prison. Yeah, oh yeah. Well, it's here now. Want some? Little vice I picked up on my travels. So Moorish. No, thank you. Fine, you do you. What are you doing here anyhow? Don't tell me you wanted to hear Nightside. Aunt Carmel was always more of a convict the defendant at all costs guy. He didn't teach you that? That was a long time ago. If you say so. Sure you don't want any weenies? No, thank you. Have you met with your client previously? Yes, indeed, Your Honor. Just yesterday, in fact. But the Bronxster called me the minute he was arrested. Sounded really freaked out, man. Oh yeah, mention your little performance too. According to him, you really made a nuisance of yourself. And not a kind word was spoken, I'm sure. Well, sticks and stones and all that. Boy, did he not like you? Trash talked you something fierce. Can't say I didn't join in the fun, though. Fun? How dare you, Mr. Fender? Line up, kid. I'm kind of a fixture in the visitors' room here. And I don't think I ever had that much of a gas. Oh, so you come here a lot. Hey. Don't go getting the wrong idea, little sis. I'm never on the wrong side of the bus. Just happen to know someone who is. The visitors' room is usually where I'm at, but this isn't exactly my first time in the clink either. In which case, I'd better ask him what he knows about this room. Tell me, what do you know about the scene of the crime? Huh. Oh, this room? Oh, no, dude. What do you know about it? I'll give you 3 choices. A classroom, a morgue, a recreation room. Well, it's none of them. I'll say it's it's a morgue. Well, it is right now. Is it a morgue? Well, it does have a dead body in it. Yeah. And dead body equals morgue, am I right? Now, let's see what the answer key has to say, shall we? Oh no, you got it wrong! This is actually a workshop. Yeah, I get that. Wasn't an option, though. So all the options he gave me were wrong. How infantile. The cons come here to perform various duties. They can learn new skills too, thanks to qualifications for when they're back on the street. I see. And how was access to this room controlled? Who has the key? Chill out, Edgeworth. I don't have all the answers. My man over there probably does, though. Right, compadre? Yes, sir. The workshops aren't locked with physical keys. Their doors are fitted with sensors instead. What kind of sensors? Inmates are issued with special bracelets, sir. When they walk through a workshop door, the sensor checks their bracelet. And if they're not supposed to be there, ding-a-ling-a-ling, an alarm sounds. If they let it ring for too long, then bzzz, they get a real shock, if you know what I mean. Wow, we got electrocution things on the prisoners. What the crap? And if they try to break or remove the bracelet, bzzz, a shock 3 times worse than that. At least it isn't quite Battle Royale. What? That's brutal. I guess they need to ensure that the inmates follow the rules, but that sounds a bit excessive. If they wish to pass through a door like this one, prisoners need to be accompanied by a guard. We disable the sensors for them and let them in. Do you get all that? Have any prisoners used this workshop today? No, sir. No one's been in here for days. I'd know if they had. So no prisoners have entered, let alone used this workshop today. Door sensor data has been jotted down in my organizer. Fitted to each workshop door, they detect and react to the prisoner's bracelets by raising the alarm. Which means... that there's a contradiction in this crime scene. Namely, there's something here that shouldn't be. Yes, if no prisoner has been in here, I get it. I'll take another quick look over the crime scene and employ my powers of deduction to solve this mystery. Right then, so what am I actually doing? The thing that shouldn't be here. Yeah, we got like no tick on this now. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. It's the body! No, it'd be this, wouldn't it? Oh, this is the deduction bit, by the way. Right, so he shouldn't be here, but he shouldn't be here anyway. He doesn't have a thing, he should be able to access it no matter what, right? But if there's been no inmate in here today, and these are inmate only, could this be related to the evidence somehow? I think you know, it very much is. The door sensors. That's for definite. But before we present this, let's leave it for the second and end our first episode of the case at this juncture. Because it looks to me like we're going to move on from this segment and into probably another very shortly. So with our second turnabout started, and now Rook and Knight both dead, I wonder if there's going to be any more chess pieces throughout this, considering we've got mine chess and all. We try to find out who his murderer was. Well, more to the point, I guess, finding out who his murderer was isn't even the thing right now. Finding out how he got here is the most important factoid. So working against or with the defense? Who knows us from the past? We'll continue on next time on Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Prosecutors Gambit. I'll see you next time for more. Until then, I say, bye-bye.